Hot Talk Morning Show. Hot Talk for Pawleys Island, Little River, and the entire Grand Strand. Hot Talk 99.5.
All right, it's 8:36 here on Hot Talk at 99.5, and we crisscross all different topics throughout the course of the day, and we weave them in seamlessly, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, whether it be the political news of the day, from our education system to the business world. And we've got so many great people in our area doing great things that you may or may not hear about on a day-to-day basis. And right now I'm talking with Brett Scott. He is with us in studio this morning. There's a brand new ministry in town helping a huge cause in our area. They're known as Ryzon Refuge, and Brett is a member of their board. Has moved to the area just about 3 or so years ago. As I caught up with Brett just a minute ago, and I did not want to get too much into what they do off the air, because oftentimes when we have these conversations off the air, it's hard to recreate the initial impact it has while we're on the air, Brett. So I apologize if I was ignoring you during the last minute and a half as we were preparing for our conversation. But welcome to the Hot Talk Morning Show. It's great to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just give us a little background on what you're hoping to accomplish with this new endeavor of yours.
Okay. Well, we're a new, brand new, really, Christian nonprofit organization right here in Myrtle Beach serving Horry County. And our mission really is to offer transitional housing for mothers and children that are experiencing homelessness in our community. We want to empower them to pursue spiritual, educational, financial, and career development, and be able to get back on their feet again. So that's kind of the main idea.
Obviously, your board and others who want to do get involved and to launch this ministry felt like there was a need. So, what was the real driving purpose behind this? Is there a big need when it comes to homelessness amongst women and children in our area?
There definitely is. As a matter of fact, the numbers are growing, unfortunately. We've seen the numbers grow in South Carolina about 11% across the board, and it's no different here in Myrtle Beach. In 2023, the last numbers I have that had the number of children that were experiencing homelessness or were unsure where they would sleep that night, from day to day, was over 13,000 children. So it's a big number. In Myrtle Beach, we have places, if you're a man or you're a veteran, you're probably going to find a place to lay your head down, and there are plenty of places around, but there aren't really enough for women and children. We're finding that there's a missing piece right there, and so there just aren't enough resources. There's some great shelters, there's some great emergency shelter type thing, but we're a little bit more of a long-term program.
Well, with that said, what does that program look like? And as you've highlighted, there are many existing shelters and other sorts of initiatives undergoing, not necessarily specific to women and children. So you felt like there was a need, and you're trying to meet that need. What all entails with that?
Well, with our offering, we're basically going to have a 2-year program for these women to find stability in their life. So we're going to offer them a whole program where they would participate in many different educational things. They will be having Bible studies to grow spiritually. They will be having classes on parenting, classes on financial literacy, because many of these folks maybe have never had a budget, maybe have not ever had a checkbook. And so we want to be able to teach them those things. And then additionally, for those that don't even have a GED, who never graduated from high school, we have a program, a partnership set up with local Horry County Adult Education, and they'll be able to provide for free everything that's needed to get their GED. And we also have the partnership with the Horry County Horry Georgetown Community College, and they also are providing career training for free for these women, so they'll be able to get more than just a job, something they can stand on.
So immediately, reaching out to other community partners, to try and help bridge this gap. Brett, what specifically made you kind of get involved with this?
Well, I was approached about a homeless ministry, and I, heard kind of that they had a need and they wanted somebody for the board. I said, well, I'm involved in 7 other ministries right now, and I am retired, but still, that's a lot. And So I said I'd pray about it, and I'd come and talk to them about it. But all they said was it was a homeless ministry. Well, the day before I went to meet with them, I was working over at Helping Hand, which is a local food pantry over there where we hand out the food. And I go over there every Thursday and work. And sure enough, 3 different times that day I heard about the women and children in Myrtle Beach needing a place. So the next morning when I met with them, they said, this is what we're doing. It's for women and children. I said, I'm all in. I didn't have to think about it anymore because I had gotten just a clear message the day before of the need. It was...
I mean, the kids alone, you mentioned over nearly 14,000 homeless kids in the state of South Carolina who are not really sure as to what they're going to do on any given night of the week. That's just it brings you an uneasy feeling. But people like you and so many great people around our community hoping to make a dent in that number, as you mentioned, Ryzon Refuge, providing traditional or transitional housing for moms and their children through this 2-year program. Outside of those, basic tenants, what makes Ryzon Refuge different than maybe some of the other emergency shelters that we have, here in the area?
Well, the emergency shelters are really set up for a short-term need, whereas we're looking more long-term. Rather than just giving them a place to sleep for the night, it's more about getting them, and that's why we call it Ryzon Refuge, or rising out of that level of homelessness and poverty and getting to a place where they can be stable and on their own with their children. And this is generational, because once you change the trajectory of the mother, the children's trajectory changes, and then that changes their children. And you kind of break the cycle of poverty is what we're looking at.
I mean, as you said, from the basic tenets of getting a simple GED and education, maybe for those who haven't graduated high school, partnering up with groups like Horry Georgetown Technical College and, working through different programs, but also, being faith-based. And obviously, faith is a big topic of conversation, particularly over the last week, given what this nation is, experiencing right now, whether you are, a faithful person or not, some of the basic tenets of life, like, hey, do not kill, or let's lend a hand to our neighbor, should be, the basic tenets of life. Let's practice the golden rule. In terms of needs, since you're a rather new nonprofit ministry, what are some of the things that you're looking for in terms of community support?
Okay, well, that's a great question. Well, the number one need really is the land for us to develop this community on. We're looking for about 4 acres of land to do this. We have a couple of leads right now, one of which would be a purchase at a really good price. The other is a potential donation of land. And we're hoping and praying that one of those will come through, but we're looking for that land. And then, obviously, aside from donating to the cause, because we're going to be doing this as, donations from churches and organizations and individuals to make this all happen, we're also in need of, running some campaigns. We've got a campaign right now going on where you could be one of 1,000 to give 1,000. And so that would generate an amount of funds that we would need to start doing the building and getting this really on the road. And we're also opening a Ryzon Redeemery, which is a thrift store here in Myrtle Beach, to help fund this. This is done by many of these ministries similar to ours in other parts of South Carolina, and that would help bring in the funds to maintain the ministry.
I know in terms of some of the housing that you're looking to build, looking for acres of land, of course, first. It was a longer process, but nonetheless, as you're probably familiar with, the Veterans Welcome Home Resource Center, their tiny home village, and the things that they've been able to do over the last few years to grow. And I know that so long as you remain in the public spotlight, there will be people answering the call. In fact, I've got a number of texts that are coming in through the text line right now at 839-9950, looking to partner with you, looking to reach out how they can help. In addition to what are the next steps? All right, we get through that 2-year program. What's the next step look like for these women? Are we going to be able to follow them? And this is sort of the baby step stage, I would say, of this group, because someone actually brought my attention to your group a little while ago, a week or so ago, which is why I reached out, because you're so new. I think this might be the first time folks are hearing about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and the massive need, as you've kind of highlighted this morning.
That's great. I really appreciate that we've got people responding already because this is a great need that pulls at your heart, and we just want to be able to help.
Where can people find out more about Ryzon Refuge?
We have a website where everything's really available, Ryzon Refuge, all one word, .org, and you can find out about our organization, our mission, our vision. We have some of the plans on there for what the community will look like, and who to contact, and we also need volunteers and people just to get the word out and people to pray. So we have a lot of needs.
And again, you can go to their website right now at Ryzon. That's RYZON. That's RyzonRefuge.org. And they have the little contact tab there on the lower left hand of their homepage. And just reach out. Brett, one of their members of the team, will get in touch with you for those who have texted in. And I'll get with Brett after. Maybe I can get his personal cell phone number to pass along to you so you can reach out to him to get more information on one of the newest community outreach groups here in the area. Ryzon Refuge. Again, that's RyzonRefuge.org. We've got tens of thousands of homeless kids across our state, moms looking for a brighter future, and in a little way, they're beginning this, to me, endeavor that's going to grow and continue to gain so much support. Knowing this community and the way we give back, I would expect you to meet these expectations sooner rather than later, Brett. So keep us in the loop. We'd be happy to spread any information if you're having fundraising events, if there are needs that we can pass along. Keep us up on the status, of where you're going with this, and we'd be happy to, get you back on anytime you wish. And just thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for answering the call in retirement to move the needle forward to help a massive need here in our state and throughout our local area. Thanks again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Again, that's Brett Scott, one of the board members of Ryzon Refuge. You can find out more about them at RYZON, RyzonRefuge.org. It's 8:48. Here on Hot Talk at 99.5, we really enjoy talking with our nonprofit groups throughout the area. Such a philanthropic community. If you have, an organization that you'd like for us to spotlight, we'd be happy to have you as well. You know the number. It's 839-9950, or you can email me at joec, Joec, at dbcradio.com.